watching Third Palm Paranormal. These are the 50 most haunted places in each state across the United States. Part 1. Birmingham, Alabama. The Sloss Furnaces. Following the Civil War, in need of pig iron, Birmingham's Sloss Furnaces needed to speed up production. In order to pick up the pace, a group of more than 100 workers, led by James Slag Wormwood, worked the night shift in dangerous conditions. More than 40 people were killed, and more than 5 were blinded from an explosion. It's said that the angry workers were fed up with Slag and threw him in the furnace. After he died, the remaining workers complained about his presence still lingering, feeling pushes and hearing his yells. Cantwell, Alaska, Igloo City Hotel. This abandoned hotel, shaped like an igloo, was built in the 1970s, but was never finished. No known event occurred to explain why the Igloo City Hotel is haunted, but those who drive past at night will see flickering lights as well as a woman in white standing in a window. Mesa, Arizona. Sunkist Factory. Workers renovating the abandoned Sunkist factory in the late 1990s reported a shadowy figure, a repetitive sound of a ball bouncing, at a red ball that would roll past them and disappear around the corner. They complained so many times that they threatened to stop working until something was done about it. Jay Yates, a paranormal investigator and local resident, was perplexed by the situation and considers the factory to be one of the most haunted in Arizona. Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Crescent Hotel. This Victorian hotel sits at the highest point of the county and is not only the most haunted hotel in Arkansas, but one of the most haunted hotels in the United States. The hotel has been there for more than 130 years and had, at one time, been both a women's college and a hospital. There have been multiple reports of images of a nurse pushing a gurney, along with unexplained noises throughout the hallways. San Francisco, California. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. Alcatraz Federal Prison, located on Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay, can be described as eerie to say the least. The abandoned prison opened in 1934 and it closed nearly 30 years later. Some of the past inmates' stories are enough to make the hair stand up on your arm. One of the more famous stories is about bank robbers John and Clarence Anglin and Frank Morris, who plotted escapes but whose bodies were never found. Estes Park, Colorado, the Stanley Hotel. The hotel that inspired Stephen King to write The Shining is sure to give guests the creeps at night. This hotel, which is more than 100 years old, is known to have spirits roaming the halls, particularly in the concert hall, where it's normal to see lights flicker and hear echoes bouncing off the walls. Guests of the historic Stanley Hotel have the choice to book a spirited room, with options including the Stephen King Suite 217, or one of the more famed ghost hunters' favorite paranormal hotbed suites. Salem, Connecticut. Gardner Lake. Gardner Lake may look like any ordinary lake, but underneath the surface, there's a house sitting at the bottom. Yes, you heard that right. In the mid-1800s, a family was halfway through sliding their home across their then-frozen lake when they decided to stop and come back the next day to finish. When they returned, the ice had thawed enough for the house to fall through. They weren't able to get their belongings out, including the piano that fishermen still hear today, playing under the surface. Delaware City, Delaware. Fort Delaware. What once was a prison for Confederate soldiers during the Civil War is now abandoned and full of paranormal activity. Prisoners were kept without beds or water and would often fight over rats to eat. People have reported sounds of chains rattling and full-body apparitions appearing. Cape Canaveral, Florida, Apollo 1 Launch Complex 34. The NASA launch site is what remains of the Apollo 1 launch that blew up in a 1967 flash fire, unfortunately taking the lives of astronauts in the process, who were trapped inside of the rocket at the time. People have reported hearing screams and seeing apparitions. It was even reported that NASA stopped allowing visitors for a brief period because of the strange occurrences. Savannah, Georgia, the old Candler Hospital. As the first hospital built in Savannah in 1804, this place is known to have a creepy history. Besides the Chandler Oak hanging tree outside that's known to have hanging ghosts, or the psych ward where rudimentary shock therapy took place, the scariest part is the morgue tunnel underneath. It runs from the hospital, the Forsyth Park, and was used to transport dead bodies that were infected with yellow fever. This has been part 1 of a 5-part series by Third Palm Paranormal, brought to you by bestproducts.com. Like, subscribe, comment for more, and if there is a particular haunted spot that you heard from this video today that you would like us to elaborate on, please let us know, and we will make an entire dedicated video to such haunted property. And until next week, everyone, once again, this has been Third Palm Paranormal. Let's uncover the truth together. And until next time, so long.